Welcome, I'm Gack, and this is Arts and Craft with Gack, where I like to pair up a beer with a game or some other beverage with projects, whatever it may be. It's been a while since I've recorded anything, just busy, life goes on. I have a couple of videos I've already recorded, I haven't edited them yet, but I want to get this one done, covering a game by Century Electronics, also known as the Cartridge Video System, and it's called Wall Street. So I'll get into gameplay and some background on that, but I just wanted to show this. So I picked this marquee up last year at California Extreme. It's your kind of basic generic marquee that says Century CVS Video. So so it's Century and then CVS for Cartridge Video System video. So there is no Wall Street artwork that I'm aware of. So I was planning on putting this as my marquee, but it actually doesn't fit. It's a little smaller than what the marquee that fits this cabinet is. And this is, to my knowledge, the only CVS cabinet design that was made in the United States anyways. It was branded as Tuni, T-U-N-I, in the United States. And I think in England maybe, I'll double check this, but I believe their brand there is Century, or Century. But yeah, it's the Cartridge Video System. So anyways, that was the marquee I was going to use, but it's just kind of your basic generic marquee that would cover any game. And then the actual circuit board, I'll show you that. So the design of this is kind of one of the ones that led to a JAMA system, I believe. You know, there were several companies that did this kind of thing. You know, I know Atari did it with the Atari System 1, where it was basically a daughter card that you'd swap out to make the different games. You basically just replace the daughter card, the control panel, and then the marquee art, and bam, you get another game. So with this system, the Cartridge Video System, they called this a cartridge. So this is basically the brains of everything. I will probably say this wrong, but I think this is basically the CPU, the core processing unit, the main computer motherboard, you call it. And then this is the video card. It has settings here. I believe that's correct. And then this card here is the cartridge. And they had this kind of plastic case that covers the chips in it. I have several of these. 2 or 3 of them don't even have this cover, but this one actually has it. You basically would just click it into these little plastic standoffs, and then there's a ribbon cable that connects at 2 places to the motherboard and the video card. I believe that's correct. And then your controls, let's see here. So then your controls would come out off of all these connectors. It's kind of crazy. I'll see if I can get video of that from inside the machine, but it's a really crazy, like, separate circuit board that all this would go into that, and then there was a bunch of fittings for the harnesses to go into individual wires. But yeah, kind of a crazy setup, but yeah, so this one here is Hunchback. You can see it there, it was noted on it, Hunchback, which is what I'm going to be putting back in here, and it matches the marquee as well. This is actually my second Hunchback for the CVS system. My other one does not have the case on it. So figure got it for a good price, might as well be a good backup, and then I'll plug it in. So the other card that's Wall Street, I don't know of any others that exist, and the actual card I think is kind of a yellow color, and it looks kind of custom, I believe. So I'll check that too. But yeah, very unique, super rare circuit board. And so yes, my friend Craig wanted to set it up at California Extreme last year, 2019 California Extreme, and so we had that set up in this machine last year, and he told me just Just keep it. You know, he doesn't have a machine for the board. He had some kind of JAMA adapter to run it in a different cabinet, but I do want to get it back to him because it's his, you know. So I have enjoyed playing it off and on, and I'll go into some gameplay here shortly. So, but yeah, it's a really unique system. I really dig this stuff because it kind of shows the history of what development was going on at the time. You know, which eventually led to JAMA, like I said. So it was a universal connector to make it easy to swap out games. But they were on the right path here, I believe. Same as what Atari System 1 did. I'm sure there's others too, I just can't think of them right now. But yeah, so that's the circuit board. And so I figured this might be a good beer to pair up with. So this is a collaboration between two local breweries to me, which is New Glory and Bike Dog, both out of the Sacramento area. And so what they called it was Out Come the Wolves. So I figured Out Come the Wolves and Wall Street, you know, Wolves of Wall Street, why not, right? Sort of goes together.
I gotta say, I'm incredibly excited.
So this beer comes in at, this is an IPA, actually a double IPA. It just says IPA right there, but it's 8.5% alcohol, so I'm pretty sure that's considered a double IPA.
You're able to do this during the day and still function, still do your job.
But there's the gray area there, you know, what's a double IPA, what's a single IPA. So anyway, so yes, Out Come the Wolves and Wall Street. Why not? So I'm gonna go ahead and crack this open. Got kind of a nice big beefy mug. Give it a pour here. So I think this actually came out a couple months ago, and I've been wanting to do this for a couple months, so finally getting around to it now. But smells good. So again, Out Come the Wolves and Wall Street. So taking a look at the beer here, it's very cloudy, and there's lots of little, you can't really make it out there, but there's some little giblets on the bottom. Giblets, as I call them, you know, some sediment. So let's give this a shot. Cheers, everyone. Nice and smooth. A little bit of hop bitter backbone to it, but good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to set the camera up different here so you can see the gameplay. And again, Out Come the Wolves. Out Come the Wolves. And Wall Street. Kind of like Wolves of Wall Street, right? Who's that? Leonardo Dicaprio?
Right.
Yes, and Craig has been kind of on standby, waiting. And,
Don't Mom!
So I'm going to get him his game back as soon as I'm done getting one more shot at playing this. So, all right. Cheers, everyone. Oh, another thing I needed to note was I've been going through a lot of changes in my arcade here. I was originally, we moved to this house about a year ago, and I had planned on having a game room upstairs that was going to fit maybe 12-ish games at the most. And after a lot of discussion with the family, we decided it'd be better off for my older son to take over that room, because it's a big room, kind of his own, you know, young adult space. So and then let's just take over the garage. So I've got about close to 600 square feet here, where up there it was going to be about 250 square feet. So I should be able to get 35, 40-ish games once it's all done laid out. But yeah, it's kind of cramped right now because I'm still in the middle of finishing up some stuff. I'll show some images of what I've been working on. I put 2 new ceiling fans in, and then I put 6 drop lights, very Grinker style, you know, and they're all color changing RGB LEDs, so I can address them to be set to colors. So for example, Alexa, set arcade to red. Check that out, huh? Is that pretty cool? So this is the Grinker setup. Okay, let's try this. Alexa, set arcade to blue. Not bad, right? So, okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to the Alexa, set arcade to white. Okay, so give me a moment here. I'll get the camera set up and we'll go over a little bit of gameplay. And then I do have a clip I want to share, which was from a trade show back in the early 80s when they were demoing this unit originally to operators, showing the benefits of having the cartridge video system to swap out, because it was a major pain if they had to update and convert a game, you know, or even replace the machine, just having to move the machine out and the new one back in, and all the storage with it. So with this, it was a simple small cartridge and the marquee. Really, that was it. The control panel was kind of generic as well, so they made it real simple. But I think maybe they had a couple options where it was maybe 2 buttons as opposed to 1. But I think that was pretty much it. So, okay, give me a moment here and we'll set it up.
This is the AOE convention. We're looking at March 27th, 1982. And we're just ready to have a barrel of laughs. Name?
Bonnie Waddell with Trinity Electro Service. We're out of Arizona.
What do you do?
We're the ones that manufacture and market this convertible video system. We are affiliated with Century Electronics in England. We have exclusive manufacturing and marketing rights to this CBS system. And right now we have 5 games on the market: Dazzler, Cosmos, Space Fortress, Dark Warrior, and Video Pool 8 Ball. We have our demo model here so that everybody can see the ease of the convertible system.
Oh, so you're going to change from one game to another?
Yes. The way you change it, you simply take the game module and unclip the ribbon cables at the top and the side of the module and remove it from the post.
Why don't you show us how you do it?
Yes, right down here. You undo these clips and remove it. Flip it back. Take it out. Now, then you go up here and you open up the cash door box. Excuse me. You open up your cash door box, you have 2 rods that extend into the interior of your machine with 2 wing nuts on each rod. You undo the wing nuts, slip out the panel board, and you have a cable harness plug that you unclip. You pull out the panel board, and then you take your new panel board, insert it, plug up the cable harness, tighten up your wing nuts, and you have your panel board changed. You have 2 screws up here at the top of your machine. You lift off the lid of the machine, take out the old marquee, insert the new marquee, return the lid on it, and tighten up your screws. You have a complete conversion after you have have done this.
What do you need more than one game for?
Well, you have to, the kids grow tired of the games, and when you have a game that takes in top dollar for 3 or 4 weeks and it starts dropping off, you simply have to take your marquee, your panel board, and your module and change it. You have a completely new game in the same location without having to move the machine. And one man can do that just carrying it in one hand.
How much does all of this cost?
The complete conversion kit costs you about $480 for conversion.
With everything?
A complete machine costs you $20.95, and we have about a 2-week delivery time.
And do they all play upside down like this one?
Okay, well, this isn't upside down. I have to. You have a 1- and 2-player game.
I see, so there'll be a player on the other side.
Uh-huh, and everything. So what it does is this is our Cosmos right here, as you can see.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
By one man in less than 10 minutes. Tooney Electro Service has 2 complete manufacturing plants. This plant in Vancouver serves the needs of the northwestern United States, including Alaska, Canada, and Hawaii, and technical services, printed circuit board assembly, and wing soldering equipment. The Tempe facility serves the remainder of the U.S. and Latin American countries. Key Tooney management includes the...
Okay. So, now this little unit here, you rolling? You rolling? This little unit here is like a module thing. You buy one machine. Will you explain it?
Well, what they are convertible systems. The only thing you really have to do on this game is change a module. I believe Bonnie.
Okay, I just tried to film this and I screwed up somehow and didn't edit it right. But let me try to set this right here. Okay, just a quick shot here. So here we go with the kegerator. Got a couple beers on tap. Got some signage, previous event stuff. This is something I picked up not too long ago. Old Coca-Cola menu, and so I could put some high scores on there. Just started working on that. That's what's on tap. Shout out to Mock. There's the marquee light boxes I'm still working on. Tron, Gyrus, Hong Kong and Junior, Rally X, Pole Position. Got a bunch of games and projects. This is my little miniature podcast setup here. And here is Wall Street that I'll be covering here in a moment. Do a quick walk around here. Track 10, I do need to talk about that at some point. This machine here is called Space Tactics. It's a cockpit, very rare. The monitor actually rotates in that gameplay. Really trippy. So it's a project. I'll get it done at some point. So it's kind of open over here, but you know, I gotta clean up over here. There's a bunch of games kind of pushed at the back there. So we'll walk back over here. So a while ago, I had the garage door openers modified so they would be much higher up close to the ceiling. And so that is called a, let me hold this here. That there is called a jack shaft opener. And it allows the opener to go up really high close to the ceiling. You can see, kind of see some white lines there. That's actually where they used to come down, like really far, really low. Kind of at the top here where the garage door is, they would just come up and go straight back like that low and to about here. So it really opened it up by doing that. That was a huge deal to me. So I installed a couple ceiling fans. The lights are turned off on those right now, but I have my drop lights. There's 6 of those. So one up here, there's 3 on that side and then 3 on this side. So that was a lot of work getting that all set up. So it's still a work in progress. The ceiling will be painted flat black. I have it painted kind of around where the fixtures are mounted up there right now. But yes, let me see if I can set the light dimmer so you can see it. Alexa, set arcade red. So you can kind of make out the frame there that goes around those are basically frosted jars. They're called a vapor jar light. And it's a real heavy duty industrial fixture. So I frosted the glass jar to kind of diffuse the colors. This is all blown out looking right now, like super bright, but in real life it does not look that blown out. And then there's like a hood visor on top of the light. I custom made those myself. And then the pipe that comes down from the ceiling, that's just steel pipe that you thread the fittings on and everything. So it was pretty fun to do. A lot of work, but I still got a ways to go. So just kind of wanted to show those. Alexa, arcade blue.
I don't know that.
That didn't work. Alexa, set arcade blue. Alexa, set arcade to 25%. Okay, so that's a little bit better there, so you can kind of see what's going on. So, all right, so the quick sidebar there. I wanted to show that stuff. Yeah, these just don't adjust very well to marquee lights. They always look blown out. And I set those lights super dim, like I can barely see those with my eyes, but the way it records it, they don't look bad. So, okay, so let's hop into some Wall Street gameplay. Woo! Okay, so I wanted to open up the back of the machine here. The game's actually starting to glitch out a little bit. It does that randomly where it shows lines in the game, so I'm going to try to reseat some connectors, make sure we get that as dialed as I can for the video, but I wanted to show this. So there's the actual, see if this thing will focus here. That's the Toonie logo right there. So Toonie Electro Service Incorporated. And 1160-82. So I'm guessing that came out in 1982. This machine came out. So here's the inside, inner workings. So I think it's not even connected here. I believe that's the original power supply there, but someone bypassed it with the switching power supply, and then I think that's the transformer for the monitor, maybe the board also, I don't know. So here's the circuit board. So that's the main motherboard there in the background, and then here you can see this ribbon cable. Oh, here's the ribbon cable there on this. That's the video card, I believe. And then there's the daughter card. So you can kind of make out, there's that smaller board there that connects on. That's the part where I said it was kind of yellowish, I recall. But yeah, this whole board here is the daughter card or cartridge that would normally have a cover on it. So actually here is a Hunchback. I was wrong, I thought this one didn't have a cover on it. But there it has an actual sticker on it. It says Hunchback. So that's what I had plugged in there when Craig brought this to California Extreme last year, 2018. And so, but this is what's crazy up here is all this wiring going on in here. There's these connectors that go from here to here, and then there's these kind of, probably hard to make out there, but it's like there's a bunch of little set screws that hold wires in place on that board on the top. And that is basically original, I believe. they just kind of had it screwed into the wood at the top, which is really bizarre. But I don't know. That's, as far as I can tell, that's original setup there. I can tell these were all crimped to tie in wires. That I'm sure was done later, because this game actually had been modified and someone wired Mr. Dew in it, I believe. And then I had this harness, actually, yeah, I believe this was my harness originally on a different game that had been converted to Hunchback. And then, but it was missing the Hunchback daughter card. But I had the motherboard, the video card, and the harness, and the marquee to Hunchback. So, yeah, so I'm going to just try to reseat these ribbon cables, and hopefully we can get rid of those lines in the game and get some gameplay video here. So, but yeah, that's what I'll be plugging back in, the Hunchback back in, and there we have it. Okay, here we go. So I reseated the connectors. Seems like everything's good now. You know, these machines get moved around, connectors get a little bit loose or whatever. And so I don't see any lines now. I did want to kind of show the machine real quick. So, you know, I've shown this before, but so that's 1983 was when Hunchback came out. Wall Street, I'll have to look that up when that actually came out. This cabinet was made in 1982 though, by the serial number. This bezel here was a Cosmos with gameplay. That was one of the CBS games. You can kind of make out the Mr. Dew. It's actually upside down in there. That when they had it modified to Mr. Dew. The control panel here, I've talked about this before. So you can see the Century Electronics, CBS. So it had a 1-player, 2-player start. So this setup right now is it's got an 8-way stick and a single button, just one button only. There are, I think Cosmos may not have a joystick at all and has 2 or 3 buttons. I'd have to check, but I think there were some variations where there was like a joystick and 2 buttons, or 2 or 3 buttons and no joystick, something like that. So what I did on this one was I just, because there's no free play on this game, I just wired up the player 2 start button with the coin up mechanism. So you just press player 2 to coin up, and then player 1 to start. So there's kind of the hectic attract mode there. So 1982. So I'll just kind of show that. So this is kind of the first level here where you're trying to save. This is basically Wall Street, right? It's a pretty kind of graphic game, I guess. The content's kind of questionable. So it's basically, you know, Wall Street here, and these are you know, bankers or investors, and they're effectively jumping out of the building committing suicide because the crash of the Wall Street market, I guess. And so you're basically like paramedics, they're trying to save them, firemen trying to save them. This is the second screen where this one's kind of bizarre too. Like you're stealing money to put it into these bank vaults there, and then there was like tanks or something following you around. It's kind of bizarre, and it's just those 2 levels. I thought there may have been other levels, but yeah, it's just the same 2 levels that repeat. I believe it does get harder. It's a really difficult game. So I'm going to go ahead and power off and power back on, and then you'll hear the startup, which it also does it. I think it does it on all the CBS games, but certainly on Hunchback when you first power it up, and same with this game. So they're kind of falling to their death, and you're trying to get them over, move left and right, try to get them into the ambulance there, save their life. And then there's a counter on the back here that counts up. Once it gets to the top, then that's basically when you clear the level, when you saved enough lives. So yeah, when you first power up the machine, it says something like gameplay operational or something like that. So we'll go ahead and do this here real quick. Let me see if I can get the screen set where I want it to view it. Kind of get it off to the side here so I can play. Let's see. Let's see here. I'll try to tweak this a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and power cycle, and then we should be able to hear it say gameplay operational or something like that. Let me see here. Okay, I'll power off. I'll turn it on and see what happens.
Game system operational.
So there we go. It said gameplay operational. So let's see if I can get set up here to play. Now I am not very good at this game. Let me see if I can kind of block the. There we go. So I'll be surprised if I can get past the second level. The first level I should be able to do, but okay, I'm gonna coin up, and then we'll give it a start. Okay, so bounce them over here. And you can see the counter at the back there, the red and yellow stripes. So I'm saving lives. Yeah, it's going up here. Once we fill it up, then we get to go to the next level. Nope, that one didn't count, I don't think. So you have to try to land them in the... That one counted. You have to try to land them inside the ambulance. I don't know. That one didn't count. Oh, is that one not going to count either? Dang it. Okay, I think if I get one more. The next time around on this, there's like multiple people jumping, and it just gets crazy. So on the building there on the right, far right side down there, you can see a 1. So I believe that's, you know, level 1. We'll see if it turns to a 2, if I can make it. So this one here, you don't shoot or anything. You just gotta avoid these guys. You get the money, and then you gotta find the bank vaults here. So you just go one at a time to the bank vault while these mechanized tanks are trying to chase you down. So there we go. I'm surprised. It's been a while since I've done that all in one life. So like I said, this is gonna get a little hectic. Yeah, see there's a 2 there on the right. I can see it. Oh, got lucky. But they'll be dropping at different rates. And you have to go back and forth trying to save them. Oh. Did I save him? Wow, I can't believe I saved him. Oh. He died. So you have to start the whole level over again. And this feels like it should be a spinner control on this level. And it's really fast movement. with this 8-way joystick. So you kind of got to barely tap it. And wow. See, like, how do you even do that? I don't see how I can save both those guys at the same time. I guess I have to bounce them back in the other direction. It's like a crazy strategy. So yes, basically Wall Street bankers, investors leaping to their death that you're saving here. Oh, somehow I did that. Wow. What? I bounced him back up on the building. That's kind of crazy. Get in there. No! Man, I was close. Yeah, for 1982, I'd imagine some parents being a little upset when their kids talk about, there's the game that I play where there's people jumping out of the building to die, you know? Okay. They're falling at different rates. Like, how am I supposed to... It's like some are falling faster than others. Get in there. No! Well, 56,000. That's probably the highest I've gotten. Okay, let's see if I can... See, it'll take the fire button there for my... I'll just do... Well, normally it's just 3 letters. I think this one will accept more than 3 letters, but that's my kind of handle for the 3-digit, 3-letter entry. So there we go, 56,400. You can see the Mr. Do burn there. So yeah, it's I'm sure that's why this game did not do well back in the day. They may have just made a few and put them on test market, and it was a combination of the content of the game and the actual gameplay. You know, the levels aren't changing enough. It does get harder, so that's one thing. The helicopter there, though, see, I'm not sure. See, now we're getting these weird graphic glitches that pop up. It's very random. So that's level 3 there. It has a 3. So you get up to the 3rd time, there's a helicopter there. So maybe you have to watch out and not hit the helicopter, because that'll kill them too. I don't know. I've never made it to that far. So Century Electronics UK Limited. Oh, see, he's shooting here. So maybe he could shoot before, or maybe that's a later level. He gives him the ability to shoot. Huh. I do not know. Okay. Well, so that's some gameplay for Wall Street. If you ever get a chance to try to play one, give it a shot. It's interesting, I'll say that. And huge thank you to Craig for letting me borrow this. He said, why don't you take it, you know, just keep it for a while. And I was like, are you sure? You know, he's like, yeah, at least it'll get played when, you know, if you have it. So there's that graphic glitch popping up again. Kind of random. But yeah, so I mean, I haven't played it a lot, but a fair amount. So, okay, there we go. Thanks for checking this out. Okay, so there we have it. Wall Street with Out Come the Wolves, which is a collaboration by New Glory and Bike Dog. There's their logo there. Out Come the Wolves. And have a good time, guys. Cheers, everybody. And be on the lookout. My next couple videos, most likely it's going to be a Donkey Kong video from when I was at Grinkfest last year in Grinker's Grand Palace, Idaho. I paired up a beer that came all the way out from Australia with Donkey Kong, and then the other beer, it was Dragon Slayer, and that one is paired up with Dragon's Lair. We weren't actually able to film footage of gameplay because of the setup we had. So that's one of the other things, is I've got to get that footage so I can kind of edit it together. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, knock on arcade wood, that I'll get those out soon, and certainly, hopefully, before this next Grinkfest that's come up in October. So we got a few months, but California Extreme's coming up the end of next month. We're June 7th tonight when I'm filming this. July 29th, I think, and 30th is California Extreme, and I'm going to be bringing about close to half my games there, which I do that kind of stuff every year. So yeah, anyways, a little bonus tidbit, I guess. And I really love doing this stuff. It's just hard to find time right now, but hopefully I'll as I start dialing stuff in, I'll be able to film this kind of stuff more often. So, because I love drinking beer, I love playing games, let's put them together. Alright, one last time. Out come the Wolves and Wall Street. Cheers, everyone.